Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for spending some of your time listening to this panel. I'm a bit different. I have war wounds that I'm willing to share with some of you this afternoon. There are plenty of them. I'll give you a quick background of what Reposit does and where it came from. We create a small control system that attaches to batteries and solar, only on residential for the moment, and that control system attempts to unlock the value of that battery for participation in services in front of the meter, whilst also delivering improved battery performance for people behind the meter. And it's quite a simple business. After 6 years, it's simple. It wasn't simple before. We give people value behind the meter so that they'll be incentivized to put the controller, to adopt Reposit as their own, to put it on their home. And we do that in return for gaining control of those megawatts for a participation on the other side of the meter. So whether that's frequency control or voltage control or network capacity alleviation. And the model works pretty well. But the biggest pain point in the business is the interaction that we have with the consumers. We have supply chain, we have electronics, we have market interaction, we have online, constant 24-hour bidding systems, we have international, but the hardest part remains the interaction, the direct interaction that we have with the consumer. And it seems to be a result of a trade-off between transparency and simplicity. So what we brought to market 4 years ago was a plan whereby you change your retailer to one of our partner retailers, and in return for changing your retailer, when the price on the wholesale market goes high or when there's some sort of event, you'll get paid $1 a kilowatt hour feed-in tariff for the energy that comes from your battery. So the market goes to $14,000 odd, $15,000, so $15, but the retailer will pass through $1. And that worked until customers went, hang on, it goes to $15. Why am I only getting $1? And we went, oh, that's because there's retailers and they've got to do something and really you wouldn't be getting anything otherwise, et cetera, et cetera. Then people started asking, well, hang on, what else are you doing with this battery? We want to know. So we explained. We tried to educate the entire segment. And that got us into a lot of hot water. It burned a lot of money and it actually just made people trust us less, which we found quite interesting because we were being the good guys. And so of the thousands of batteries we have under control, we only have hundreds of customers that are on anything like an advanced retail plan. In fact, most customers, by far most customers, stick with their incumbent retailer because they don't understand and they don't want to know. So our early signal that we got from the early adopters was, tell me how it works. No, it goes to $15,000. I've been watching it and the voltage hasn't gone up, et cetera, et cetera. But that's 4% of the market. The rest of the market, they just see these interesting electricity plans as being another way for retailers to take advantage of them. And that is fundamentally the pain point of the model. And so we have a dilemma in that how do we get consumers to participate? And some of them saying they want to, not all of them. If you read the ECA report, a lot of them saying they just want to wash their kids, or they just want to make sure that they're not destroying the world when they turn on their air conditioner. But at the same time, they're watching their back all the time. And I think that all customers seem to want monitoring. And I think one of the reasons they want monitoring is because they're forced to be watching their back. And that's how they consider it. So when we run our brand benchmarking every year, 2 words come out, they consistently come out: smart and trust. So that's good, they trust us. But they do that because we explain and explain and explain and explain and explain. But then we measured, for the customers that have spent the most amount of time on our help desk, what are their trust scores? And they're much lower than the people who haven't spent any time on our help desk. And that's a problem. So I'm happy to share in the Q&A some of the learnings. I don't have a solution. It's definitely an issue. It's not just going to be an issue for Reposit. It's going to be an issue for anyone trying to do something like this. Please ask your pointy questions.